What's good, family? Welcome back to the Pickup Game live on the Jeff J Says YouTube channel. I am Jeff Johnson, tapping in with your favorite Knicks content creator, my guy who hosts the Knicks on One. Oh, I'm wilding right now. I got too much going on right now. I'm going live in different places, throwing off my own intro for my man, the host of Knicks on One on Twitter Spaces. You've seen him in a lot of places. My guy, Shaun Geddes, aka I Ain't Shaun. Shaun, what's going on with you?
What's going on, Jeff? Pleasure to be here. Honored to make the YouTube channel. Really looking forward to a great show. Appreciate you having me. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Shout out to everybody who's tapping in with us live. Shout out to the replay gang. As always, you already know the vibes. Check us out here. If you're on Twitter, check us out there as well. Shaun, I know that tweet went out, so you better, yeah, there it is.
Come on now.
He hit the retweet. I had to press it like, yo, you see the retweet, press that up. But yeah, man, we talking, we talk pickup game, we talk the whole NBA. We are focused, as always, focusing, locked in on the New York Knicks. We do Knicks talk here as well, and I wanted to bring Shaun on because I wanted to get this fascinating season in perspective. I feel like we've gone through 3 different anime sagas of Knicks teams, and we haven't even reached the end of the season. We've seen 3 different teams. They've had struggles, they've had progress. I tell you, this Crunchyroll should sign them up because this has been a wild season thus far. But let's take a look back. First off, Shaun, I want to do with you is take a look back to pre-All-Star. Pre-All-Star, because they say, people be saying it's the first half of the season. I'm trying to be the change I want to see in the world. It's 55 games. 55 games. It's a half and plus. It's like 55-60% of the season, but we like to say the final half of the season. But with this previous 55 plus games that we played, but that the Knicks have played, what would you give them as an overall grade?
I think, and a lot of times I get knocked for being a little too optimistic, but I feel like I'd give the Knicks an A-. If you would have came into the season and told me that we'd be like where we are right now at 33-22, especially considering, the Julius injury, to have a trade like midway through the season like that and be able to keep rolling and, play well the way we have, to be able to adjust the way that Jalen Brunson's playing, losing Mitchell Robinson. I think there's a lot of factors, and I think we've mitigated the issues very well to be where we are and be in good position to, have a really strong finish. So I definitely give it an A-.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're giving them an A-. What would have gave them the plus? Because I was that type of student where it's like you give me the A-. I'm like, fam, the A is right there. The A is right there, bro. Or even the A+ if you want to get crazy with it. What would have gave them an A or even an A+ in your mind for this first half for pre-All-Star for the Knicks?
I feel that because I once complained about a teacher giving me a 97 on a project, so I get that 100%.
You could tell the immigrant kids are triggered right now. The immigrant kids are triggered. So yeah, tell me, what would have made it an A for you?
I think going into the break on a 4-game losing streak, it was because we were hurt and everything like that. And I just think that there's a few games over the course of the season that we just shouldn't have dropped. Like even during that 14-2 stretch after we got OG. I'm still mad at the 2. I'm mad about that Orlando game that we lost, and I'm mad about what was the other one we lost? We played Memphis
Dallas.
Really close.
They blew that Dallas. They came out the first quarter. If they would have played the whole game like that, it wouldn't have been. They would have got that one.
Yeah, games like that. It's like those little games where it's like you shouldn't drop those because they matter. They're gonna matter when you get to the end of the year with the standings. But other than that, man, I think they've been excellent. How about you?
I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. I see it in their perspective. It's funny I'm pressing you on that because I gave them a B+. I gave them a B+. It's one of those B+ where if you came to talk to me after class, you could probably finesse me into the A-. Like, yo, you know what, you got a point, whatever. I think if you asked any Knicks fan at the beginning of the season with the original team that they had, top 4 seed, top 10 in offensive and defensive rating, top 5 in point differential, and over 30 wins, I think you sign up for that. Regardless of what it is, you like, yo, give that to me. I want that. I need that in the team. I think you have to give them a lot of credit for that 14-2 run in January, the moves that were made during the season, the trades where, you know, a lot of fans were like, wow, we're making this trade, we better see some results. And for RJ and for Quickly and even for Grimes to go out and get in OG and Precious and Bogey and Burks back, right? For everything that has happened, I think you couldn't have predicted any better. Like even going 16-0, I think that 14-2, I think that was the month where the 2 games we spoke about with it's annoying. They could have ran the month. They could have ran the month and went 16 up, 16 down if they would have closed in those games that they should have, right? I take off a little bit of points. Not so much. I ain't gonna penalize them for getting injured. I'm not going to penalize them for injuries. Injuries happen and teams have to deal with it throughout the course of the season. You saw that the Cavs had 2 pieces missing, and Donovan Mitchell said, hop on my back and let's hold fort and actually increase to where they're now the 2nd seed currently in the East. So every team has to deal with it. I think I give them the B+ for some of them losses with their teams that I don't think they should have lost. So it's like, that's why it's not a perfect score. The other thing is, with every injury that happened, your depth is going to be tested. I think their depth got tested to the critical level, to Grizzlies level. They were one step away from Grizzlies DEFCON 5, right? But even so, I feel like there might have been one more move to make to have that emergency in case of emergency. For us to have to get Taj Gibson off of his marathon route to come back and hoop and play major minutes, that's a small infraction in a fantastic season where the Knicks got 2 All-Stars, had players setting records, OG Anunoby with God level plus minus, like these type of things that we've seen. I think overall, if you're a Knicks fan, you have to be happy. Even though they were limping, crawling to the finish line and just needed to get into the hyperbolic chamber and replenish their selves and get healthy, I think this is a season where you got to be happy. You got to be happy with their position going into these final 27 games.
Nah, I fully agree. And honestly, the Taj Gibson thing is definitely a slight indictment because, one, like, it was inhumane. He didn't look okay out there. Like, he was not supposed to have to do that. Yeah, he was not supposed to have to do that. He was like, wait, I got to start tonight? And, you know, on that 4-game losing streak, I think 2 of those games, it was just like, you know, you're giving Taj 20 minutes, you can't win the game. Like,
Right. And it wasn't even, I think any Knicks fan will tell you that they love Taj and they're happy that Taj here. And I love him to even be a part of the ride. I ain't asking a 38-year-old player who hasn't been in the mix, that hasn't had that output in a while, to come literally off the couch, even though you've been working out, staying in shape, come off the couch to play 30 plus minutes. Some of those, Taj was looking like when you play ball all day and it's the last run. And the last run is usually the trash run because it's a pride run. Everybody's playing because, yo, I don't want to stop playing. I don't want to bitch and say, yo, I'm tired. So everybody runs through. Somebody goes on like a 6-0 run, and then we stop the game. We're like, all right, are we done? Are we all playing? Because this looks like we could save our energy elsewhere. That's how Taj was looking. I could see the pain in his eye. He wasn't going to quit. He ain't quit, though. He ain't quit. But his body started telling him that, like, when he hurt his back and went out, I was like, bro, his body's telling him, yo, Father Time hit him with an RKO, bro. Father Time hit him with an RKO, and that was all she wrote. But props to him. I hope he can be with the team in some capacity. But I do think if they had to go to that well with Taj Gibson, that's where it's a slight grade. But the B+, where they are, where they're positioned, and within striking distance of that 2nd seed, even with outside chance of the 1st seed, I think it's something that I think all Knicks fans would sign up for. But the one thing, Shaun, we ain't signed up for all these injuries, man. We ain't signed up for all these injuries, and it's been annoying to say the least. It's like you're just getting in a groove, and then injury after injury after injury. I think the blessing, quote unquote, in all of this is it happened early. It happened early enough in the season where folks could recover for the stretch run. So the latest news that we have, Dante, iHeart, Bogey, all the squad that sat out with the little injuries, they're fully ready to go. They're back in the mix, so those three are there. Mitch, the ankle boot is off. He got no restrictions, and now he's working back. Where we thought, because of the reporting and the disabled player exception that the Knicks applied for, that he may not see the court this season, it looks like he can come back for the last half. OG is getting reevaluated on March 1st. So based on what happens there, we'll see whether or not he can come back that month. Same thing with Julius. I think this week is when he's supposed to be officially reevaluated, but it looks like he's hitting all of the milestones that he needs to hit in order to be good for whatever period he comes back. So what are your thoughts on these injuries and how they've affected the Knicks thus far?
So it started with Mitchell Robinson, it's like, okay, he's down for a little bit. We got to make it through. We've done it before. And then, like you said, the disabled player exception report came out, and it was like, oh, wait, hold on. He's out for the year. So that was really stressful, but it's very encouraging now that he's about to come back. It seems like in March, hopefully, whatever, him coming back, Mitchell Robinson being here for the playoffs makes us a better basketball team, and I'm very excited for it. Then you've got Julius Randle, who I have a lot of confidence in, just even when he went down, as long as it wasn't like anything that was super torn or anything like that. I was like, yeah, he'll be back, and he's like an Iron Man. Like he's going to be fine. And whether it's 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I expect Julius to be back out there, and I think we'll be much better when he is. I think the injury that worries me the most, and has for a while now, is the OG injury. And OG has an extensive injury history in the past. When it first happened, because when Julius went down, I was like, all right, now we'll see OG at the 4. He was starting to get more aggressive offensively. It was like, this could work, and then we can have a more confident and aggressive OG when Julius gets back, and that'll make us a better team. But OG's been out since Julius went down. And at first it was like a day-to-day injury. Then it was like, okay, it's been day-to-day for like 2 weeks, and then I think they were just trying to make it to the deadline. Then right as soon as 3 o'clock passed on deadline day, they were like, hey, he's out. And for 3 weeks at least.
Masterful finesse, by the way. Masterful finesse. My man said,
I
just
respect
hold on for a week, and we're going to make it happen. Like, masterful finesse.
I respect it 100%. I probably, the price on Bogey and Burks probably would have been a little higher if they knew we needed them. And then from there, I think something happened in the presser the other day when they asked him if he was confident he would play again this season. I was like, this is strange phrasing.
OG?
Yeah, they asked OG if he was confident he'd play again this season. He said, yeah, he's hopeful and everything. But I'm just like, what do you mean this season? Like, you're supposed to be back. Like, this should be like, hey, are you going to play again this week? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe. But it's just like, how far are we from OG's return?
You know what I'm saying? That's the way they ask the question, because they want to know. Because if you ask him if you're confident you're going to be back this season and you're wishy-washy, that means we don't know. Regular season, postseason, you might be cooked. The good thing about it is, from doctors' updates and people who specialize in these type of surgeries, it seems like it's minor invasive surgery, to where it's based on how quick you recover, your pain tolerance, and you can catch up pretty quickly. It's also good that it's an elbow injury, to where he can still keep up some level of cardio. And unlike Mitch, where it might be a longer road to come back because he hasn't been able to run because it was a lower leg injury. Right? I don't know how much you could do with bikes or the arm bike or whatever. That don't work. Regular cardio don't work when you compare it to NBA cardio with the starting and the stopping. It's just different. Like I at one point I was doing a lot of cardio when I was working out, and then I went to play ball, and I still felt shortness of breath because of the start and stop. Then I started doing high intensity interval cardio, HIIT training, for those of you who know, like start and stop and start and stop. And I felt, after I played a couple of games, I could feel the endurance. I could feel the positive effects of the training I was doing, because it was more of an endurance at first and then start and stop. But can't nothing prepare you? You know it, Shaun. Can nothing prepare you for basketball cardio? Basketball cardio is different than I'm trying to look good for the summer cardio. It just hits different. It hits your lungs and your airwaves different, and you do have to get acclimated to it. So Mitch, who was in the best season that I seen him as a Knick, best physical condition, and the best season, right? For him to be able to work back, I think he's gonna have the longest path for that. What are your thoughts about getting all these players back into the lineup and getting integrated, how that can affect the squad. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it truly feels like Endgame, like, the Avengers reassembling. Like, I feel like everybody just coming back. And I think it's gonna make us better. One thing, it's like there's perspective for everything, right? So there's a way to look at everything. So it's like once everybody's out, it's like, okay, what can we get out of this time? And I think we got out of this time. Precious Achiuwa has been excellent. Shout out Precious Achiuwa. He stepped up both at the 4, the 5, hitting the boards, playing defense, being switchable. And so I think that was able to reveal itself through an increased need for him. Also, Dante DiVincenzo. Dante DiVincenzo has been incredible. And he's not doing anything that he won't be able to do when everybody gets back. He's just shooting the ball. He's shooting a lot. He's getting to the rack. He's finishing. Teams are playing him higher on the catch. So now he's able to get that first step and get into the lane. And so he's going to be more of an offensive weapon once we do get a Julius back. And now when Julius is commanding those double teams, it's going to be easier rotations to create more open looks for Dante. And I think that OG, when he comes back, the way that he plays defense, even though I knew he was a great defender when we got him, like until you watch him on a nightly basis, it's like, oh wow, like he's like a shutdown corner, like on defense. Like he shuts down the entire side of the court. And so when we get these guys back, Mitchell Robinson, I mean, I think Hartenstein and Precious Achiuwa have both done a great job on the offensive boards, especially. But Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get that back, when we get his production, when we get him playing the pick and roll the way he does, it also allows iHeart to be the facilitator of that bench lineup if they do choose to send iHeart back to the bench. But I just think that it's going to make us much, much stronger. My biggest issue, honestly, because I want guys to be fully healthy when they get back. Like, I don't want guys to come rush back and then, have lingering things. Like, take as much time as you need, even though I want you back out there. Take as much time as you need to be good when you get back. But I'm sad because Julius Randle is probably going to miss qualifying for the All-NBA because of 65 games. And OG, I was pushing DPOGY. Yeah, I was pushing DPOGY, and that dream is dead until next year, unfortunately. So that's the part that hurts the most. But as long as guys come back fully healthy, also it'll allow. I'm not gonna lie, these first couple of games of Alec Burks have been a roller coaster. We're seeing more Alec Burks than we're supposed to, and it's causing him to do more things than he's supposed to be doing. I think when everybody gets back and Alec Burks is able to just do his job and come off the bench and give us scoring, it'll be easier to bear. So I look forward to that. I look forward to all the pieces being in the places they're supposed to be in.
Right. Yeah, watching Alec Burks, because why they got him, but he has to overextend himself. Funny enough, him and Bogey must feel like they got traded to Earth 2 Pistons, right? Like an alternate reality Pistons, where they're playing the same exact role, more of their role than they were supposed to, as opposed to what they were expected just because of injury. It's like Alec Burke running over his extended time is like having one of those perks in an RPG where you can have strength and like increased strength, but it affects your health every time. It's like you have a super limit break. You have a super limit break, but you lose +3 health for every time that you swing. Every time that you attack, you lose +3 health. So it's either you better beat that enemy quickly or you gonna kill yourself, right? So, but I'm interested to see the whole gang together to see how this new ecosystem is going to work. Thing about OG, what you say about his injury, it seems like he gets a lot of random injuries. Like random, I got poked in the eye and things like that. Like bone spur would be something like an OG injury where it's like, how did you get it? How did you get it? We don't know. But he's the type, from what reporting is saying, he's the type to wait until he's 100% good to step back on the court. If it was his off arm, you might take a little bit more liberty because he can shoot. He won't need it as much, and he don't need it like just for stretching out, but it's like he won't have to do as much. It won't be as much of a concern, which is why it's so fortunate that it was Julius's off shoulder that got injured as opposed to his shooting shoulder, which would put them in a whole different realm of down bad, right? It put him in a whole different realm. But I do think with him, like looking at the schedule now, I'm looking at the West Coast trip, that March 14th in Portland. I think the Warriors are on that streak too. I had that thing up. I don't know what the hell it is, But yeah, so like that West Coast trip around March 14th, that's when they start go out. That's where I'm looking at it for at least OG. And I think if they're able to come back in mid-March, you have about 15 to 17 games left, depending on when they return. There's a Warriors game and there's a Nuggets game that are both on that trip towards the end. I could see them coming back for the Warriors game, probably going to be a primetime game or whatever the case may be, and make their returns there. But I do think if they can come back in mid-March, you get about 15 to 17 games, about 4 to 5 weeks of hoops left. I think that's enough time. That's enough time for them to gel as a team and roll into the postseason in whatever condition, to be in the best condition to have worked together and give the coaching staff and the players enough time to figure out what the full extent of what their team is going to be.
No, I agree. And if we do get that 15 to 17 games, I feel like we can stay afloat until then. Like, I'm not super, as long as we're not like completely depleted like we were going into the break. I feel like Jalen Brunson can carry us there. I feel like, Burks, Bowie get more comfortable in their roles, being, kind of assimilating to what's going on. Our Hart being healthy. Yep. Also, shout out to Josh Hart. Josh Hart has always had like a thankless job, and but like since everybody's gone down, he's really stepped up, hitting the boards consistently every night, being like our secondary playmaker pretty much. So he's done a really good job. I'm confident in our guys. So I think we can get there and be like the 4-3 seed. I want to get a 2 or 3 seed. Like, I want to have a top 3 seed. That's my goal, period. Like, it would be very nice to sneak into the top 1 seed if Boston fell off somehow, whatever. But I want to have a top 3 seed. I want to play in that 2-3 second round series, and I want to play Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. And so I believe that we can stay afloat. And then when we get our guys back, like you said, for that final 15, 17 games, make a really, really good push. And I mean, like a real, we were 14-2 with OG that one month, and that was with no Mitch. And, and like we both said, we shouldn't have dropped those 2 games. So it's like that final 15-17, if we're at full strength, I see no reason we can't go like 15-2 over that stretch and make a really strong push to get a top 3, maybe even 2 seed. So I'm right there with you.
Well, you brought it up, man. You said you got your goals, top 3 seed at the very least. You're looking at to get into that 2-3 matchup to face Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. That is your path to the Knicks and this last half of the season and in the postseason. Let's get into those keys to Knickscess. What are one of the keys that you see for them to achieve your goal of that 2 or 3 seed and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or farther?
Championship run, man. Championship run. My biggest key, and I think that part of it has been with Julius going out or whatever, but especially offensively, I need Jalen Brunson to get back to being like the 43-45% three-point shooter. Like, over the past couple of weeks, he's been shooting pretty terribly from 3, like 25-30%. And I know that a lot of that is because the shots haven't been as easy, but just at the same time, that's basketball. You're going to have a few weeks where you shoot really well. You're going to have a few weeks where you're not shooting so well. So I need him to get back now and I need him to have like the chip on his shoulder from folding on the last rack of the three-point contest. Like, go out there and be a sniper. Shoot 43-45% from 3. And I need Dante to continue shooting. Like, I love the way that in this recent stretch, Dante's been putting up like 15 threes a night. Keep doing that. You shoot 40% from 3. I want you to take 15. Like, I'll take 6 threes a night. That works for me. So, I think that 3-point shooting offensively is like our biggest key. And because I think the rest of the stuff does itself. Jalen Brunson is getting into the paint and hitting floaters at an insane rate. I don't think anybody in the entire NBA can guard him or keep him out of the paint. When Julius gets back, nobody can keep him out of the paint. But the 3-point shooting is what sets us apart because we play really good defense. And, we create a lot of opportunities for ourselves. So I think that when we're hitting threes, I feel about the Knicks the way I feel about myself. When I go to the gym and my jumper's falling, I feel like nobody can do anything with me this day. Like, I can do whatever I want in here. And so when the Knicks are hitting threes, I feel like there is no team that can do anything about us because we play good enough defense to make it so that if we're hitting threes, it's kind of tough. Like, we will run teams out of the gym.
I love that. And shout out to my guy, CT Pittman. Thank you for tapping in, brother. He says, not going to lie, I'm worried about seeding until we get everyone back. Some healthier teams could gain momentum. I am worried about that just from the standpoint of where the Knicks could fall because the way the East is so stacked, you could be the 2 seed 1 week, and then in 2 weeks, you're fighting for you're playing life. right? And I don't want them to get into that Final Four seed because once you start getting into single game elimination, you allow for too many factors that could determine whether or not your season is a complete wash. So top 6 to me, because of the circumstance, just get a guaranteed playoff spot at first. If you can get the team back with 15 games to go for it. Go for the top 4 seed. Go for the top 3. Like you said, I think if you are able to do that, then it's all going to figure itself out. Because once you see the final form of this team, which we haven't really been able to see because people have been out, logically, if you put together all the best of this team, you would think the Final Four would be something phenomenal. One of my Knicks keys is really, it's simple. OG, I forget where OG's people are from. I think is he Ghanaian or Nigerian?
I believe he's Nigerian.
Nigerian. Well, whatever. We need the motherland. We need the motherland remedies. We need whatever. Like, let's use Western medicine, African medicine. We need all of the medicines, bro. That man needs to get back. That man needs to get back because when I tell you, Harden said he is the system. Defensively, OG and Anunoby, he's not playing in the system. He is the system. Just to give you a crazy stat, right? When OG's on the floor, when he's been on the floor for the Knicks, he has a 99.5 defensive rating, which is almost 10 points better than the Timberwolves, who are currently the number 1 at like 108.5. That's nuts. That's nuts. So if OG is on your team, I saw Ian, shout out to Ian Begley. I saw him tweet something from Synergy Sports that said, when OG is guarding players in isolation, they do not get to the rim. Like the percentage of getting to the rim is like so low, you can effectively say, if OG's guarding you, you're not getting to the rim. This is a dude that allows everybody else to do one thing well. Whatever your one thing on defense is that you do well, he allows them to do it. That's why Devo can be free safety in the defense and pick off those passes. That's why Jalen is able to position himself better for charges and is able to play better team defense. And with the way all of the centers have been playing and just playing out of their minds on defense, it just increases the level of shutdown that they do on defense. So I think with him also still shooting 50% from corner 3, he's shooting 100% from the right corner 3. So we already know where his sweet spot is. He's in the right corner, it's going down. That's just what it is, right? I think what he brings to stretching the offense, to completely dominating on the defensive end, and just his overall presence is something that's going to be a major key. They get him back with enough time, they'll be able to make the run. Because we even saw it. He's so malleable to where he can be plug and play in any part of the offense, at any lineup, that he alleviates so much pressure from everybody else that people will be more freer to ball out. So that's one of my keys. What else you got, Shaun?
Yeah, I think that really goes into my key as well. Like OG, because like you said, defense. I love that. Defensively, he is the system. Like he really is the system. He completely changes everything. And I think there was one play, and I bring it up all the time, but we played the Bulls, and he was guarding DeMar DeRozan on the ball. He got over a screen, made DeMar pick his dribble up, and hounded him on the dribble. Then DeMar kicked it away and across the court, and he went across court and contested the shot of the guy he kicked it to. And I was just like, ridiculous. How did you do both of these things in the same play? That doesn't even make any sense. And in that one game where he had 6 steals, like he just like off-ball screens, on-ball screens. Like it doesn't matter. He's shutting it all down. He's making it difficult for guys to even get into their offense completely. And I think a big thing for me with OG was, and it was, I feel like KG and Uncut Gems. It's like, why would you show it to me if I can't have it? Because he finally started being aggressive offensively. And he they asked him in the post-game interview like how he felt about that. And he was like, my teammates been telling me to be more aggressive. He was like, I was watching film and I realized there were a lot of points where I wasn't being aggressive enough. And I was like, oh, he gets it. Like
we know. We've been
saying
it. It's like when you play with somebody on the court and you know they're nice, but for whatever reason they're being so passive. It's like, yo, go, bro. Like we know we seen you ball before. What are you doing? What you got to do after this? When you're not trying to get hurt? Like what you got going? Are you not trying to sweat or something? Like what's up? Like go. And the fact that they that they lag off of him a bit, or they can't lag off of him because of corner three, but they know that's the only thing he's trying to do, it also makes your offense a little bit more predictable. So if they know if you catch the ball, you can create for yourself and you're going to go off the dribble and you're going to put more pressure on the defense, that just makes your offense more dynamic and it gives him more opportunity, because as a third option, that's ridiculous. For some of the moves I saw him do, I'm like, I would love to see a lot more, brother. I'd love to see a lot more, please.
Yeah, like he can get to that little mid-range jumper of his at any time. Like he doesn't have the greatest handle, but he doesn't need it. Like he gets to a spot, he uses his strength, he gets that little shoulder bump, and he raises and somehow puts that line drive into the basket, but it works. And so it's like, I'm cool with that. And he started being aggressive, going to the basket. And the reason that OG is the key for everything, honestly, is the defense, him being more aggressive as the third option, but also like the bench unit. And so with Alec Burks and Dante DiVincenzo being here and Grimes being out, the bench unit takes a hit defensively. But when OG's out there with them, that helps. And Alec Burks also now and Bogey, they help the creation in that bench lineup as well, where the pressure isn't on OG to create, but also the floor is set for him to do so. Like it's set for him to pick his spots in that lineup. And I think if we get really good bench production, and I've been saying this when it was Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride, I was like, hey, if we get 20 points between the two of them, I don't think we lose the game, because our starters are so good. Jalen Brunson is so good. Julius Randle is so good. Dante DiVincenzo is shooting so well. We play such good defense that if we get bench production and we get scoring off the bench, it's going to be very difficult to keep up with us. So I think that's the major key, as you said. It's OG.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. I know the cost it took to get OG, and you see with his production why it costs so much. Like you got to pay, you got to spend money to make money, and we had to spend a lot of money in RG and quickly. RJ and quickly, excuse me. I will tell you this much though. If they found a way to keep quickly, this would be a completely different pod, because the ceiling is the sky. If they would have been able to keep that production off the bench, but at the same time, I ain't one to hold people down in positions. If you got a greater idea for what you want to become, you got to seize that, because I'm not trying to have you quickly be here and take team friendly deals if you know you could get more and get a better position in life. I've seen too much in corporate America to where you want a promotion and then you don't get it because there's whatever above you. And sometimes you got to leave companies in order to advance, right? So I definitely shout him for that. Selfishly though, that off the bench, it would have been like, yo, let's go ring shopping. Because I don't know what else you're going to stop. And that's another key for me, is replenishing the bench with whatever the new look bench is. You're going to have Burks, you're going to have Bogdanovic, you're going to have Precious, you're going to have Deuce. If Mitch comes back, that's going to be an interesting scenario, like what Tibbs decides to do. I think you shouldn't fix what's not broke and have Mitch, especially with the wind considerations and his conditioning, have him come off the bench 15, 20 minutes, or let me put the Tibbs tax on it, 20, 25 minutes. Because if you can run, you can play. I hear that. If you run, you can play, right? So at least 20 from him, and you got the 48 minutes of fantastic, phenomenal center play between those two. If he gets his win back and he's able to get proper conditioning, you can run offensive sets and defensive sets out there for a team, depending on what the game situation is. Like Tibbs will legit have a whole suite of options at his door, but they do need to figure out what's going down on the bench. Another key, I think, Shaun, is they've got to figure out what they have in these players that have stepped up since the injuries. They got to keep whatever skills they just showed off and they've developed. This has to carry over when everybody comes back. I saw Dante doing step backs. I saw him doing dribble, hesitate, step into the corner threes. His drives, his pull-up shots, all of those stats have increased, like almost doubled since he's been the guy because of injury. And we see that he can be capable. Having that as like a tertiary or fourth option, right? That is incredible to have. That's where you can have those runs being sustained when your starters go on the bench, and you can have him run with the bench unit, maybe him and OG, or however you could switch it up to where now he's unlocked. Him and Precious Achiuwa over his last 10 games has played. He's been literally playing at career highs for the last 10 games. If they're able to keep that pace going and be able to use that starter pace against bench options or even when the team needs it, you put 48 minutes of pressure on any team. There's no let up. There's no break. And I think if they're able to replenish and develop their bench to the original depth that used to be touted from the Knicks, this is going to be another strength that can carry them to a long postseason run.
I agree wholeheartedly. And one thing that, like you said, about guys being able to step into what they were doing before, I hope that Deuce doesn't get the short end of the stick. I feel like he will. It seems like he was slated to. And this is no knock on Alec Burks. I expect Alec, like I said, when everybody gets back, I feel like when Alec is in his role, he'll excel in it. I just feel like I hope that he's not automatically over Deuce. Like, I hope that there's merit there where if Deuce is playing better and Alec is not really having it, whether it's that night, that week, I hope that Deuce gets the shot. Like, I don't want Deuce to be relegated to 5 minutes max. I feel like Deuce has played well enough to earn the opportunity, especially if Alec Burks is going to go out there and act like he's never passed the ball before. Like, some of those shots he's taking, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Hoop dreams right there.
Alex said, "Oh, y'all brought me here to score off the bench. Bet." Like,
my man saw them injuries and said, "Coach, you already know. Activate me. All I see is green. But and here's the thing. I think a lot of us have Knicks PTSD for Burks because of a position. This is the second time that he's been put in a position he didn't ask for, but he's going to show up. 21-22, where we had this man running. This was our point guard, and even he was just like, yo, coach told me I'm doing what I got to do. I'm going to do it. Like, what do y'all want me to do? I'm not going to blame him. Like, I understand. Because weeks ago, the complaint was don't got no scoring off the bench. So Burks is like, yo, I can score. I'm going to put him up. Then it's like, whoa, not like that. You're doing a lot, bro. But it's like, bro, you can't. It's going to be imperfect either way. To me, I'd rather it be imperfect where we're putting up shots, right? Where the Knicks are putting up shots because you can't. Yes, defense wins games, but offense gets you the final score. It gets you the final score. And at some point, if it's a defensive struggle, whoever scores more wins. And if you can over-index on defense and you under-index on offense, eventually they're going to start hitting shots and you're going to slow the pace down and do all of that. But if you can't score, what are we talking about? So that's why I'm super interested to see Burks off the bench in the bench role that they envisioned for him, right? Like, I get it. Like, Burks, he already know the vibes. He already knows. Like, that's why I really do mess with Alec Burks, because I know he knows, bro, they gonna get on me. I gotta put these shots up though. Like, it's like the hero that you don't want, but the hero that you need is Alec Burks, bro. But he was wilding though. That doesn't excuse some of the wilding. Like, it was at some point where it's like, yo, next game we switching teams up. Because this dude just all he do is want to shoot. I ain't trying to play with. All he do is shoot. I ain't trying to play with this dude anymore. Like, that's not happening. But that is the key. I think when he's in his he's gonna be in his proper role on this team, probably since the We Here season. Mm-hmm. Like, he's gonna get a role, and I think he's gonna be effective. And the fact that they can have someone like Deuce or this the new trademark Precious Achiuwa balling out and have them. This is like the in case of emergency that you need. Mm-hmm. This is the in case of emergency, not two-way players and down to your last and calling me up on my phone like, Jeff, are you in the city? Like, can you come through? No, I can't, bro. I can't, bro. Like, my ACLs are intact. I ain't trying to go out there and rip them up because y'all don't got players. So that's what I think, man. That's what I think.
We have the depth that makes good teams great teams. Like, that's what our depth is. Like, it's a big difference.
100%, man. 100%. All right, man. Let's get into like some brass tacks, bro. You seen the might delete later. You seen the vibes. I heard the villains. I heard the dream villains have awakened like the Titans and whatnot. Like, y'all awakened and y'all ready to go. So, which player would you equate to the feeling that you get when a new J. Cole anything drops? Who puts that feeling into you on this team right now?
I'm so glad you asked me that. Jalen Brunson. Not even close. Like, not even, no second thought. And it's funny because it is the same feeling. It's that feeling when Jalen Brunson has the ball and he's like sizing up his defender is the same feeling. And I love being right. I think that every time that Cole raps, and now these days when I see people and the whole timeline is like, yo, J. Cole, best rapper, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've been a J. Cole stan since I was like 15. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I remember when people were like, oh, sleepy time music, I'm going to put that on to go to sleep. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's not that good. And so now that everybody's just acknowledging, like, yo, like, not only is he like top 3, like he's probably the best. Like, you know, it's like, wow, like I was here. And so with Jalen Brunson, it's like, I'm not Khalil stage where like, you know, I was always there. But, you know, like I've been saying for a minute, like all last year, people were like, Knicks need a star. I'm like, yo, like, are y'all not watching Jalen Brunson play basketball? Like for the second half of the last season, the 41 games since January 1st, Jalen Brunson was putting up 30 a game and people were saying we needed a star. I'm like, yo, like he's right there.
That's because he doesn't wear lifts in his shoes. If he wore lifts in his shoes, everybody would have been like, he's a star.
And I feel like I love the fact that like his team, whether it's like his manager, his agent, his family, himself, his friends, whatever's going, his wife, whoever made the call did an excellent job. Because Tonight Show, all the Smoke Pod, you know, going on TNT, having the roommate show, like this is how you rate. I think that part of being a star is also you got to like do the star things. And I think that because the adjustment on the court happened so fast with everybody realizing, I don't think the rest of what he was doing was matching like the star profile. So I feel like now he's taking care of the rest of the star profile and getting the exposure. But I mean, yeah, I have the utmost confidence. Josh Hart said it on episode 2 of the Roommate Show. Shout out to the Roommate Show, by the way. Excellent content. Every Knicks fan should be watching.
Shout out the roommates.
Yeah, every Knicks fan should be watching it. But Josh Hart said it, and he was like, I don't want to big him up too much on here, but he was like, you know, if we get into a game and it's like the last couple minutes and it's within a couple possessions, he was like, I have the utmost confidence. And I feel the same way. I felt that way since, and like early in the first season he had here. I remember there was an Orlando game. It was at home, and it was like an 8-point game, and Orlando cut it to 4. And he came down and he got like back-to-back buckets in the mid-range. And I was just like, yeah, like there's a lot of games, and it was like we would have lost this game last year. Like before Jalen Brunson got here, this would have been a loss.
There's a lot of games like that. Yep.
A lot of games. Like he's a real closer. He's the guy where it's like, yo, like he's going to take us home. I have so much confidence in Jalen Brunson. The game 6 against Miami last year, if anybody else shows up, and honestly, I did like a slow motion video breakdown. I do not believe that last pass was intended for Julius Randle. I think that Julius Randle tried to catch it because he thought it was for him, but I think that Jalen was kicking out to the corner for Quentin Grimes. And so it's like, if that doesn't I just feel like he can get us wherever we need to go. Like I have so much confidence in Jalen Brunson. Like, take the keys, bro. Drive. I'm sleeping in the car. I'm not even worried. Whatever kind of traffic is going on, he can be driving in the oncoming traffic, and I'm still going to sleep in the car. That's how I feel about Jalen Brunson. That's the same way I feel about J. Cole. I'm so glad you asked that.
He's your personal self-driving car to a fandom right now. I love it. Yeah, this is like, I feel like last year was like his $1 in a Dream tour. Last year was his $1 in a Dream tour where everybody was, come on, bro. Yo, he's honorary Queens. Yo, J. Cole is honorary Queens, St. John's. You know, we connected. We connected, bro. Like, so shout out to him. Shout out to Matty also, management and whatnot. Like that's family too, bro. And I know, like, this dude, that's another key for me is, can he keep his game at an elevated level? Get into that all-NBA discussion. Keep playing well to where he will be a legitimate MVP candidate. I think we got a 3-horse race right now, but still, when you break into that national discussion for MVP because your game is undeniable, that's when you know you're playing at a level to where you can elevate your team in any situation. I think any Knicks fan would think that, right? And I agree with you. I love this national run that he's doing right now and getting himself more out there, whether it was getting himself out of his shell or just getting the opportunities. You need to do that because you'll have media folks and people and fans and casuals try to really gaslight Knicks fans and tell them that you're the reason why Jalen Brunson did not get more votes than Dame. No, the reason why is because Dame has an effective, well-known national persona because casual fans carry all-star voting. Dame, you could have people in Asia, in Europe, in Africa, they know what Dame time is. They know what Dame Time is. You point to your wrist, they know who that is. He has a national profile, and he's done it. And he's had his playoff moments. He's built his lore. Jalen Brunson is just starting to build his lore. We in Dragon Ball era Jalen Brunson. He just got the Z this year. We just got to Z this year. That's what you got to think about it with him. So he's building his profile right now. Once you get casual fans that are like, I want to see Jalen Brunson start in this game, that's when you see it raising the level. The fact that he broke, I think, 1.5 mil, shout out to the Knicks fans, because contrary to popular belief, all 9 million people that live in this city, or 10 million, wherever we're at, they don't all watch basketball. They ain't all Knicks fans, and they ain't all voting. We barely can get 50% of the people to vote national elections or local elections. What do you think is going to happen with the All-Star game? You know what I mean? But Jalen got to play at that level. I'm eager to see what happens when the gang comes back together, because you can't double team that man no more. You can't double team that man. You're going to have to pick your poison. So either you take the guillotine, you take the hemlock, you take the firing squad, you take the electric chair, whichever one you want. That's what you're going to have to pick when I think they get the whole team together. Shaun, we got a game coming up tonight before we get out of here. Knicks, Sixers. Sixers is getting hit with the injury bug too. It seems like, I think Embiid is out. Rocco is out. Who else? DeAnthony Melton, Nick Batum. Nick Batum is questionable. If he's in the fourth quarter, you know people are going to question it. If he's in the fourth quarter, you know people going to question it, but he's questionable tonight.
It's my
what
favorite
are you looking
bar.
forward to? Right, yo, I love when he did his farewell to the Clippers. He put that in, and he said, "Yeah, even in the fourth quarter, I know y'all stood by me. Even when I was in the fourth quarter, that was 10 out of 10. No notes, 0 notes. So hand that in, no edits. But yeah, what are you looking forward to the most from this last half of the season, and then going into the postseason as they start their road towards whatever the playoff positioning is?
So I'm gonna let you know. You said in the beginning that you were gonna be the change you wish to see, and now that's twice you've called it the last half of the season. But
you're right.
I'm gonna shoot you
I
some bail there.
I
I'm gonna shoot you some bail.
I had to be commercial. I had to be commercial. My bad. I had to be commercial. So the final 27. The final.
But
27
I'm gonna shoot you
games
some
in the
bail
season.
though, because look, there's 27 more games in the season, but we're 16 wins away from our journey, our destiny after the 27 games. So technically, this is still the halfway point, because we got a lot of basketball left to play. So you're not
Jesus
really
died
wrong.
at age 33. That's 33 shots.
33 shots.
I get it. You're doing the math. I thought you was about to Foxy Brown me, like, you know, triple that times 3. It's 3/4 of another key. You know, I thought you was gonna hit me with the Foxy math. I'm like, oh, okay, you get Knicks talk and you get math talk in the pickup game, all right? But yeah, go ahead, bro. What you say?
But yeah, one of my guns was holding 17. I think that, like, you know, in this Philly matchup, I want to sweep the Sixers. I'm not gonna lie. I think they're food. I thought they were food before Embiid went down. I think they're food even more. I need, like, you know, I do this thing on post game prosperity where when we sweep a team, I grab the broom and I like raise it above my head like Doodle Bob, and I'm like, and so I really want to do that for the Sixers. That would mean a lot to me. So this is just like another step towards sweeping them. I want Jalen Brunson to bust Tyrese Maxey's ass. I don't think that they have enough of a presence to be able to like do anything about us in the paint. I think we're going to kill them on the boards. You know, we just have to limit the 3-point shooting that they have. They're going to put up a lot of threes.
Please, somebody guard Buddy Hield, because I know he's. Oh, you want to talk about Alex Burks, Emerald Light? Buddy Hield is seeing that from the shores of the Caribbean, bro.
Yeah, so Buddy Hield, you know, something about, I don't like when Kelly Oubre plays well against us. I don't want to see that. It's certain guys that, like, I just don't like when they hurt us. So Kelly Oubre is one of those guys too. So take care of business there. I expect that. But for the rest of the season, you know, until the rest of the guys get back, I think Jalen Brunson is going to continue. I said before the season that Jalen Brunson will be top 5 in MVP voting, and I meant it. And I feel like he's made me look like a genius. Like I said, I love being right. And so he's made me look like a genius up to this point. I think that he's going to continue to put up like 30-point performances and, you know, 40-point performances. And so I expect him to carry us. I really want to see the bench get it together. Alec Burks and Bogey fitting in their roles. Bogey looking comfortable. Bogey had one game against, I think it was Houston, where he had a solid game. He gave us some good buckets in the fourth quarter. I think he gave us 15 or 17 points, and he was 1 of 6 from 3. So I want to see that same kind of game where he goes 4 of 6 from 3. And now that 15 or 17 is, 24 or 26. Like, I'm looking forward to that. But, I think that we just got, like we said earlier, just be strong until we get everybody back and then be the strongest.
I love it. Get healthy. Watch those season matchups, because that's the one thing I'm kind of like looking, because I think the Knicks lost the season matchup with Orlando already. They probably lost it with Indiana. So you got to think about those with the tiebreakers. Get healthy, keep balling, and get ready to turn the league on its head. That's what I'm waiting, because I do not want to dream deferred this year. I do not want to dream deferred. You know what I mean? I do not want to dream deferred. I want to see them at their healthiest compete, and let's shake it up. Let's shake it up. That's what I want to see. So it's the Shaun. I hate Shaun. I don't. Y'all might, but I don't. That's just the @name. Shaun Geddes, my man. Thank you for joining me. Please tell the people where they can find you across this digital world.
So that'll be I Hate Shaun. That's I Hate SHAUN. I shouldn't have to tell you how to spell either the first 2 words. And that's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. You can find the I Hate Shaun show on YouTube under Banton Arts, but you can find it on Twitter. We have 8 episodes. They're in my highlights on Twitter. Knicks on One. Knicks are on one way or another. We're there at 1 o'clock the next day to talk about it. Jeff gives us some master classes, some extremely classic moments that we're honored to have. And then playback.tv/I Hate Shaun. Pull up for a game with us. We have a great time. We watch the game and there's a family. We get our reactions off. My guy Brill is there as my right-hand man. It's always a really good time. So we hope to see you guys there. We're gonna have guests on, leading during the season. And so we hope to see you there.
Guests. Tease.
Yeah, man. We'd be honored. We'd be honored to have you too, man. We'd be honored if you ever want to pull up and watch a game with us, man. I know you're a little busy with the betcast and everything. I know you're a busy man, but
Wait, Brill be on there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call Shaun on there randomly so that he can pop off and we can get this slated. It don't stop. They have that the Steelers Raven talk don't stop. I love the fight. Yo, Shaun, y'all check them out. Knicks on One the day after Knicks games, 1 o'clock Twitter Spaces. They get it rocking on there. Playback. I Hate Shaun. Watch the play-by-play of the game with him and Brill. They're the hoods, Breen and Clyde. You know what I mean? You gotta get it. You gotta lock in with them and lock in with me. Thank you so much for joining me on the Pickup Game, part of the Jeff J Says YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Like this video if you love what you're hearing. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You already know we building this community. Thank you for everybody who's joining me on this journey and everybody who will join me going forward. I don't know any more call to actions. If you tell people about this, like it, do all the things. Knicks fans, I'm planning to do this more consistently every week. Get some of the Knicks content creators you love to come on and talk. Do some more spots. I'm exploring my creativity with this a bit, so it's gonna get real interesting. But thank you for tapping in with me. For Shaun, I am Jeff. Until next time,